Good evening, students. Good evening, students. Today I am going to teach the fifth chapter, Monetary Economics. Monetary economics, it gives framework to analyze money. Now, introduction. In this chapter, we are going to see the functions of money, effects of monetary system in detail. Now we are going to see the meaning of money. Anything that is generally accepted as payment for goods and services. Anything that is generally accepted as payment for goods and services is called money. This will be very helpful for repaying debt also, loan also. It acts as a medium of exchange. So in introduction side we have finished. Meaning also we have finished. That is, anything generally accepted as payment for goods and services is called as money. In recent days, credit instruments are used in large scale. We are using check, bills of exchange, etc. Now you refer that definitions. First definition of money given by Walker. Many economists develop definition for money. Among this definition given by Walker and Crowther given here. Now Walker's definition, money is what money does. Money is what money does. This definition given by Walker. Next definition given by Crowther, anything that is generally acceptable as a means of exchange, that will be used for exchange purpose, and also at the same time it acts as a measure of value and store of value. These definitions given by two economists, one person, his name was Walker, another person named Crowther. Two definitions given by them. Now we are going to see evolution of money. In that first paragraph we are going to see about barter system or barter exchange. Barter system or barter exchange. The great invention of mankind was the introduction of money. Before that, barter system prevailed. That means exchange of goods for goods, exchange of commodities for commodities. Commodities and services were directly exchanged for other commodities and services. So that is nothing but exchange of goods for goods. That was called barter system. Under this system, buyers and sellers, they had to face many difficulties. Okay, surplus, excess goods were exchanged for money, which in turn was exchanged for other needed goods. So under this system, buyers and sellers, they had to face many difficulties and problems. Goods like skin, salt, rice, wheat, utensils, weapons and other goods were also commonly used as money. Okay, now we have finished about barter system. Barter system, that is nothing but goods were exchange of goods for goods. Exchange of goods for goods. Okay, now you refer that box. The history of barter system starts way back in 6000 BC. The system was introduced by Mesopotamia tribes. Okay, Phoenicians also they followed the bartering of goods with various other cities. across the oceans. And also Babylonians, they also developed an improved barter system. Improved barter system where the goods were exchanged for goods. Okay, now second one, metallic standard. After the barter system, modern money systems were introduced. One of the system was metallic standard. Some kind of metal, either gold or silver used. Standard coins they made out of metals they were used. Their face value is equal to their intrinsic value. Okay, so after the barter system, modern money systems were introduced. One of the system was metallic standard. Some kind of metal, either gold or silver used. Standard coins made out of metals were used. Now the next one is gold standard. That is, standard currency is directly linked with gold. Monetary unit means in terms of certain weight of gold. Purchasing power of unit of money is equal to the value of fixed weight of gold. Okay, so gold standard, it is a system in which the value of monetary unit or standard currency directly linked with gold. So monetary unit, that is defined in terms of certain weight of gold. That was called gold standard. Now we are going to see about the silver standard. What is silver standard? Standard economic unit of account is fixed weight of silver. Government also allows conversion of its currency, change of currency into fixed amount of silver. Okay, that was called silver standard. Now the next one is paper currency standard. What is that? Paper currency notes issued by treasury or central bank or both. Circulated as an unlimited legal tender. Okay, paper currency standard, that is paper currency notes issued by treasury or central bank or both. Circulated as unlimited legal tender. It is not convertible into any metal. Other name is managed currency standard. Other name is managed currency standard. That is otherwise known as managed currency standard. Circulation of money that was controlled by monetary authority. That circulation of money was controlled by monetary authority. This is about paper currency standard. Now the next one is plastic money. This is the latest type. It is an alternative to the cash. Hard plastic card. Hard plastic card that is used in every day in place of actual bank notes. Okay, this is the latest type. It is an alternative to the cash. Hard plastic card. Hard plastic card, it is used every day in place of actual bank notes. There are different forms of plastic money. Examples are cash card, credit card, debit card, prepaid card, cash card, prepaid cash cards, store cards, forex cards and smart cards. These are all the examples of plastic card. Next one is cryptocurrency. It is a digital currency. Encryption techniques are used to regulate the units of currency and also to verifying the transfer of funds and operating independently of central bank. Okay, so we have finished till this evolution of money. Now we are going to see about the functions of money in detail. There are functions of money may be classified into four categories, four types. What are they? Primary functions, secondary functions, contingent functions, and other functions. What are all primary functions? One is money is a medium of exchange. Second one is money act as a measure of value. First one, money as a medium of exchange. It has a quality of general acceptability. All exchanges of goods and services takes place in terms of money. Okay, transaction will be very useful for transaction purpose. So transaction, it is divided into two parts. One is money is getting through the sale of goods and services. Money is obtained through the sale of goods and services. That is called as sale. Second one is money is obtained, money is getting to buy goods and services. That is known as purchase. So that will be used for sale and purchase. Sale and purchase. So money act as a intermediary in sales and purchases. So it act as a medium of exchange for sales purpose and also purchasing purpose. This is the first primary function of money. Next one is money as a measure of value. The second important function of primary function. Second important primary function is measure of value. It measures the value of goods and services. Prices of all goods and services, they are expressed in terms of money. Okay, so all the values are expressed in terms of money. So it will be very easy to determine the rate of exchange between different types of goods in a society. Okay, so that is the second primary function. So primary functions, two functions. One is medium of exchange and another one is measure of value. Next function, secondary function. What are all secondary functions? Secondary functions are it act as a store of value, standard of deferred payments, and means of transferring purchasing power. Now secondary function side, first one we are going to see. First one, store of value. Store of value. Savings are now done. Savings are now it is possible in terms of money, because it serves as an excellent store of wealth. Money that will be very helpful for storing wealth, that is easily converted into other marketable assets like land, machinery, plant, etc. So it acts as a store of value, that is the secondary function. Next is money as a standard of deferred payments, that is future payment. For future payments, very helpful. Money is very helpful. Borrowing and lending, borrowing and giving, lending purposes are very easy under this system, but borrowing and lending were difficult problems under the barter system. Nowadays we introduced money, so it is very easy. Borrowing and lending are very easy. Okay, in the modern money economy. So money now it acts as a standard of deferred payments for future payment, future purpose, that will be very helpful. Next, third function is money as a means of transferring purchasing power. Transferring purchasing power. Exchange of goods. It is now extended to distant lands. So, it's very necessary to transfer purchasing power from one place to another place. So, for that purpose, money is useful. These are all the secondary functions of money. Secondary functions of money. Now, the third category is contingent function. In that contingent functions, first one is basis of credit system. Second one, it facilitates the distribution of national income. And third one, money, it will be very helpful to equalize marginal utilities and also marginal productivities. And fourth contingent function, it increases the productivity of capital. In that first one, I am going to explain. First one, basis of credit system. Basis of credit system. Business transactions are either in cash or on credit. For example, depositor, he can make use of check. When there are enough fund in his account, he can use check. Okay. So money is at the type back of all credit. So it is the basis of credit system. Next one, it facilitates the distribution of national income. Distribution of national income was very difficult under the barter system, but we introduced money, we invented money. It will be very helpful for the distribution of income as rent, wage, interest and profit. It will be very helpful for the distribution of income as rent, wage and interest and profit. Next, third contingent function, it helps to equalize marginal utilities, additional utilities and also marginal productivities. Okay, consumer, he can get maximum utility only if he incur expenditure on various goods. That time only to equalize marginal utilities. He can equalize marginal utilities. Okay. So, in that place, money play an important role. Prices of all commodities, prices of all goods are expressed in terms of money. You know very well. Okay, that will be very helpful to equalize marginal productivities of various factors of production, namely land, labor, capital and organization. Okay, that is the third contingent function. Next one is fourth one, money increases productivity of capital. Money increases productivity of capital. It is the most liquid form of capital, liquid asset. Okay, that can be put it into many use. Liquidity, that means cash holding. Liquidity of money that can be transferred from less productive use to more productive use. Okay, less productive uses to more productive uses. For that purpose, money is very, very helpful. These are all the contingent functions of money. Next, last one is other functions. Other functions, there are three functions in that. One is money help to maintain repaying capacity. Second one is money, it represents generalized purchasing power. Third one, money, it gives liquidity to capital. In that first one, I am going to explain money helps to maintain repayment capacity. Okay, You know very well it possesses the quality of general acceptability. So to maintain its repayment capacity, every firm they have to keep the assets in the form of liquidity cash holdings. Okay, so banks, insurance companies, and also even governments, they have to keep some liquidity money, that is cash. For the what purpose? To repay. Okay, next one. It represents generalized purchasing power. Purchasing power kept in terms of money that will be used for any use. Okay, so money should be used only for the purpose of for which has been served. So generalized purchasing power. Next, third one, it gives liquidity to capital. It gives liquidity to capital. It is the most liquid form of capital. So it can be used for any use. Okay, these are all the functions of money. Functions of money we have finished. First one is primary function, second one is secondary function, third one is contingent function, and fourth one is other functions. Now next one is supply of money. Money supply, that means total amount of money in an economy. What is money supply? Total amount of money in an economy. That is amount of money which is in circulation in an economy. Amount of money which is circulated. Okay. It play an important role to determine the price level and interest rate. Okay. Now next one is meaning of money supply. In India, in our country, currency notes are issued by RBI and coins are issued by Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Okay, so the currency notes are also called as fiat money and legal tender money. Understood? The currency notes are also called as fiat money and legal tender money. Money supply, it is a stock variable. Stock. Okay. RBI, Reserve Bank of India, it publishes information for 4 alternative measures of money supply. What are they? That is components of money supply. Components of money supply. One is M1, next M2, M3, M4. What is M1? M1, it represents currency, coins and demand deposits. Demand deposits. M2, it refers to M1 plus saving deposits with post office savings. Next M3, M2 and also includes time deposits. Time deposits of all commercial banks and cooperative banks. M4, M3 and also total deposits with post office. Okay, these are all the 4 components of money supply. In that, M1 and M2 are narrow money, M3 and M4 are known as broad money. Okay, now we are going to see about the determinants of money supply. What are all the determinants of money supply? First one is CDR, currency deposit ratio. That is nothing but ratio of money held by the public. Okay, in currency that they hold in bank deposits. Currency deposit ratio, that is nothing but ratio of money held by the public. Next, RDR, reserve deposit ratio. It consists of two things. One is vault cash in banks and the other one is deposits of commercial banks with Reserve Bank of India. Okay, next CRR. that is nothing but cash reserve ratio. That is fraction of deposits the banks must keep with RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India. Next, fourth one is SLR, statutory liquidity ratio, that is the fraction of total demand on time deposits of the commercial bank in the form of liquid assets. Okay, till this enough. Thank you. Tiffany, up. Up. Red